Once upon a time, Lebanon was known as the jewel of the Middle East. People traveled to access its state-of-the-art hospitals, cutting-edge technology, and high patient-doctor ratios. Resources abounded.
This is the story of how Lebanon slid into a state of conflict and disorder, resulting in hospital shutdowns, a nurse-doctor exodus, garbage piling in the streets, where even the most basic life necessity, such as clean water, is scarce. The people of Lebanon are suffering. As of 2018, the United Nations found that 84% of Lebanese do not have regular access to safe water. Only 22% of the population are using sanitation systems that are considered safe.
So, how did it get this bad?
In Lebanon, corruption has become a way of life. Let's take a quick peek into Lebanon politics.
Clientelism is an expectation. Political parties, which are based on the 1932 census of religious sects, each fight for power. Controlling party promises their followers stable jobs, money, and healthcare. All they want in return is loyalty, like stand in front of an angry protesting mob kind of loyalty. If you speak out against them or protest for reform, then expect not to have a job.
On top of internal government turmoil, there is deep, widespread corruption oozing into every aspect of life. Let's look at water as an artifact of corruption. In the past, Lebanon was proud of its ample supply of groundwater. Over time, this groundwater has squandered, and infrastructure was ignored by a divided and very corrupt government. Then, in 2012, over 1 million Syrian refugees fled into Lebanon and further strained Lebanon's failing water supply. Next, a massive explosion in Lebanon's capital, Beirut, in August of 2020, further destroyed what was left of the infrastructure, making it even harder to obtain water, especially for women and children.
Guess what the second leading cause of pediatric mortality and morbidity was in Lebanon last year? Infectious diarrhea. And you know what causes that? Contaminated drinking water. A lack of access to clean, safe water for mothers and children not only produces a generation of sick children, but contributes to poor maternal health from dehydration, infection, preterm deliveries, and low birth weights. Why doesn't the government fix the infrastructure or at least set up a system so people can get clean water? The government doesn't have any money. Lebanon is one of the most indebted countries in the world. Any foreign aid disappears due to rampant corruption. Over 100 billion US dollars has gone missing from the banking system since the 70s. In fact, the government is so in debt, it has closed 6 hospitals in the last month.
Are the government the bad guys here? It's complicated. The majority party is being financially backed by Iran, so how representative can it be for its own people when they are being so heavily motivated by a different country? Because of the intense government corruption. Anybody with resources leaves the country. There are 4 times as many Lebanese actually living outside of Lebanon than inside. In France, there are 200,000 doctors, of which 20,000 of them are Lebanese. Brain drain of healthcare professionals is one reason why Lebanon is having trouble maintaining a functioning healthcare system.
Asking, who are the elite within Lebanon is a complex question. There are the super elite billionaires, one of whom which is running the country, and the wealthy 1% that earn 25% of the nation's income. We could even say that the elite are those with the ability to leave the country. The non-elite are those that have to live in the rotten scraps of what was once a beautiful society.
What can we do about that as nurses? It is clear that Lebanon is in an emergency crisis. Aid organizations and foreign governments have built an $11 billion reserve for helping Lebanon. However, with such deep government corruption, it is unsafe to distribute. Various organizations are providing ground-level aid to address any crisis they can. One tangible way we could help is by providing education and basic tools for the emergency water crisis. But the problem runs deeper and is more fundamental than water, even though water is essential for life. To address inequity, we have to look at how inequity is built because of Lebanon's social structure. The government is corrupt, and the effects of that corruption touch every person, especially mothers and children.
We have to encourage nurses to adopt a political stance because the problem is rooted in politics. It's time for nurses to act as leaders and model our values of accountability. Let's lobby the ICN to put forth a vision statement for the long-term healthy recovery of Lebanon. Nurses can encourage the government to ratify Article 25 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights that states everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health and well-being of themselves and their family, including medical care and necessary social services. By supporting government reforms, nurses can help Lebanon access billions of dollars in relief. and can start the process towards the future when the people of Lebanon can take water for granted again.